Hey everyone, the Marvel Legends Disney Plus Series 2 just landed at my friendly neighborhood collector store Robo today, and I'm super excited to have a look at these figures. Before we get into that, I just want to say please like, comment, share, subscribe, or even hit that super thanks button. I appreciate all engagement. And the first figure that I'm gonna take a look at is Kate Bishop, simply because I do not have that comic version of the Marvel Legends, and I thought her sculpt looked really good from the promotional pictures. On top of the box, we have that Hawkeye logo, and down to the bottom, product information. Down to the side, there's Kate in her purple outfit, as well as a couple of graphic elements from the TV show. On the back of the box, there's the same photo of Kate, a little bio description of her character on the right side, the other figures in the wave, as well as more product information at the bottom. And down to that last side, it's the same picture of Kate. So now let's go ahead and get this figure open. Out of the box, the figure is in the middle of the plastic tray, and she's accompanied by her trusty bow, two interchangeable hands, as well as the Ultron Build-A-Figure right leg. The bow is cast in a glossy black plastic, and it seems quite flexible as well. There's also an application of brown paint down the front of the bow, so that's a nice contrasting two-tone colors to the bow. If you have a closer look at the handle, you can see that there is a notch over here. With Kate being right-handed in the show, she should hold her bow in her left hand. And I'm not really an expert in archery, but I do believe that the notch is supposed to go onto the outside of the left hand. And so she holds the curved part of the handle over here in her left hand with the notch on the outside. Sadly, she doesn't come with any arrows for her to pose, even though the figure is articulated enough to get into a drawing pose. And since the bow is a flexible plastic, you can actually fit it over her shoulder and have her sling her bow around her body like so. Next, she comes with a pair of relaxed hands, and these are cast in a purple plastic with paint for the parts where her fingers are exposed out of her gloves, and also some dark gray paint on the back of her thumbs for the pattern of her gloves. These hands are articulated inwards as well as outwards. So now she looks more natural in a neutral stance with her relaxed hands down by her side instead of those gripping hands by default. Kate Bishop's sculpt is pretty great, and the best part of it is of course her head sculpt. With the digital dot matrix printing technique, there's plenty of details being captured on her face. From the really sharply printed on eyebrows to the subtle eyeshadow that's above her bright blue eyes. There's even a subtle bit of blush on her cheeks as well, and you can see some of the beauty marks on her right cheek. The rest of her face is finished off with nicely and sharply printed pink for her lipstick. So overall, this is quite a neutral expression on her face and captures Hailee Steinfeld's resemblance quite well. Her hair is a separate reddish-brown plastic that's attached on top, and there's some strands of hair coming down the right side of her face and a bit of curls down the left. The hair is sculpted, tied into a ponytail at the back. There's no separate paint for the hair tie, and that ponytail is actually sculpted in place without any articulation. Her torso is mostly cast in the purple plastic. Some paint applications for paneling detail, like the front panel over here with lighter purple paint and darker purple paint for the stripes down the sides of her shirt. There's also black paint for that zip down the middle. At first I thought the different tones of plastic on the right and left arms were a mistake by Hasbro, but that's actually quite accurate to the design of her outfit from the show. As you can see over here, the two different tones of purple down her sleeves. So we have a left arm that's the same shade of purple as her torso, but her right arm is a slightly darker shade of purple. On her left arm, she's got metallic purple paint for her shoulder pad over here, and that has an outline of silver paint. That same lighter shade of purple paint for a panel on her left bicep, and there's a couple of strap detail on her left forearm. These straps are also painted in a dark gray paint that matches the panel on her glove. There's also some dark purple paint on the insides of her bicep, and that's to match that same purple panel that goes down the side of her torso. She's got a separately sculpted and attached on quiver that's in black plastic, with also a couple of nice panel and strap detail down the front. On the back, we see that quiver, and it appears to have separately attached arrows. However, they are not removable, and everything is just a black plastic. so this can look a little bit dull. Onto her right arm, and she's got some metallic purple paint for a little bit of line detail on her right forearm, and also some more grey paint on her right wrist that once again also matches that panel on her glove. She's accessorized with a belt around her waist that's got silver for the buckle in the middle, as well as a couple of hits of blue and green paint for the different types of trick arrowheads, and these are stored on a small pouch on the left side of her waist. The belt also has the same strap and black texturing and detail all the way around. And now we go down to her lower body. Most of it is cast in a dark grey plastic, and there's interesting sculpting detail, like a little pouch over here on her right thigh that has the strap detail that goes to the insides of her legs. The strap detail is also painted in purple, and we see more interesting texturing detail for the ribbed design from her knee pads down to the bottom of her pants. She's got black boots, and these are sculpted in a separate black plastic that are attached to her legs. There's also quite a lot of detail on these boots, with a zipper down the front and also laces on each side of that zipper. There's some more zipper detail on the insides of the boots, and on the back of the boots there are also some loops over here. So I quite like how that sculpting of the different panel detail all over her outfit, as well as the use of different types of paints that really brings out all the different features of her outfit. For articulation, her neck's on a double ball dumbbell joint, so that means you can turn her head right as well as left. There's very good sideways tilting going on as well, and she gets a decent range looking down as well as up. She's got butterfly joints at her shoulders, so she's able to pull her shoulders back on both sides that far, as well as pulling them forward. So this is quite an interesting and unique point of articulation, especially for female figures, and that's probably helpful to get her into poses using her bow and arrow. But it's a pity that she doesn't come with any arrows to pose drawing that bow. She's got a swivel hinge at her shoulders that go all the way around, as well as coming out quite far, almost 90 degrees. She's got an upper bicep swivel, so that's 360 spin, double jointed pinless elbows for really good range, and she can touch her own shoulders. Swivel hinge at the wrist that goes 360 and articulates in and out. She's got a mid-torso ball joint, and that lets you get her to spin 360. But you have to be careful with that ball joint because it does feel quite gummy, as you can see. With a lot of give in that plastic, she's able to get a little bit of sideways tilt from that ball joint as well, and also just a little bit of forward ab crunch and a lot more backward bend, but that really breaks up the sculpt over here. She's got ball joints at her hips, and that goes out that far. Not much range going backwards, but the forward range is also decent. Upper thigh swivel for 360 swivel. Double hinge pinless knees that also have quite good range. Even though her boot is a separate piece of plastic that's attached to the calf, there is no swivel over here, so that is a missed opportunity to give her more articulation over here. There's a hinge at her ankle, so there's quite good upward tilt, downward tilt, and finally some ankle pivot outwards and inwards. So while she's got quite a good scheme of articulation, I find it quite a pity that she doesn't have a proper bow and arrow accessory to get her into a more kick-ass action pose. Kate stands at about 6¼ inches, and that's about 15.5 centimeters. Here she is with a couple of more recent MCU Marvel Legends figures. And since she faces off with mobsters in the TV show, here's the comic Kingpin and Jigsaw. And here she is with comic Captain America and Iron Man. For comparisons with other lines, here she is with some G.I. Joe Classified series and some Star Wars Black series. Kate Bishop is one of the best female Marvel Cinematic Universe Marvel Legends, with a great sculpt and paint job that's enhanced by the pinless double hinge elbows and butterfly joints at the shoulders. However, she's let down by the lack of proper bow and arrow accessories, and it's once again that familiar feeling of Hasbro just almost getting this figure perfect but falling short. I can still recommend this figure, especially if you're a Kate Bishop fan. Please like and share this video, let me know what you think in the comments below, subscribe to my channel, or hit that super thanks button. Thanks for watching, take care and stay safe.